Diagramming sentences. This is a topic that sometimes confuses or bewilders or maybe even frightens some students. But what it is a way to visually, spatially understand how sentences are structured. The idea is, on the left side is the subject and everything that goes with that, and on the right side is the predicate. That basic core of the sentence is on what I call the baseline. And between the two parts is a long vertical line that cuts through the baseline. Here is the sentence, birds fly. Short sentence, but it's a whole sentence. It tells you what birds do. And it's an intransitive verb because there's no object. That's the simplest kind of sentence there is. The main parts go on the baseline. The long vertical line divides the subject and the predicate. The direct object goes on the baseline too when you have a sentence that has a direct object. He flies airplanes. In this case, airplanes is the direct object. Remember that the direct object receives the action, in this case the action of flying. And on the diagram, the direct object is indicated with a half vertical line. Whole vertical line between subject and predicate, half between verb and object. There's also on the baseline, if you have a subject complement, it would be on the baseline because it helps form the core of the sentence. Airplanes are awesome. In this case, we have a predicate adjective, and there is a diagonal half line that indicates that that is not an object but a subject complement. You could have the sentence, airplanes are vehicles. In that case, you would be talking about a predicate nominative, but it would still go in the same place with the same diagonal line, and we know what nouns and adjectives are, so we know that vehicles is a noun and awesome is an adjective. Articles, adjectives, and adverbs go on diagonal lines below the words they modify. In this sentence we have bird flew, basic core of the sentence. Intransitive because there's no object. The bird didn't fly a kite, the bird didn't fly an airplane, the bird just flew. Okay, now we have an article, the, underneath it, and an adjective, pretty, underneath the bird, and an adverb, away, underneath the verb. The pretty bird flew away. So you can see that things that modify things go underneath them. Prepositional phrases also go under the words they modify. If it's an adjective phrase, it goes under the adjective, under the noun. If it's an adverb phrase, it goes under the word it modifies. So, she went to the party. In this case, we have an adverb phrase that modifies the verb went. The preposition, the word to, goes in a similar way as a normal adverb on that diagonal line. And then you have a horizontal line below your verb that has a space for the object of the preposition, which is always a noun. And anything that modifies your object of the preposition would go under it, just like it goes under the subject over here. She went to the party. Questions stay in the same order as statements on diagrams. You don't put the question word first. In this case, the question is, where did you come from? The first word of that question is where, but it's kind of the last word of the diagram. Subject is you, verb phrase did come. So verb phrases go together. The word did is a helping verb, but it's not an adverb. It doesn't go under. It goes on the same line as the main verb. And from is your preposition, and where in this case is the object of the preposition. And the understood you in imperative sentences only in English. The understood you goes in parentheses. You may go, my famous sentence. You here is, this is actually not an understood you in that sentence, you may go. So let's see, I made a mistake. And so let's make a sentence with an understood you. In the sentence, stop talking, the subject is you, even though the word you is not in that sentence. Stop is the first word of the sentence, but it's the predicate, so it still goes on the right side of that long vertical line. We have the half vertical line here to indicate that the word talking is the direct object. Stop talking. Stop what? Stop talking. Compound sentences are joined one on top of the other, like this. I left, but she stayed. You have a little dotted line there that you can write your conjunction on. This is a short compound sentence. It just has 4 words, 2 intransitive verbs. You can see that they're intransitive because they have no objects. I left, but she stayed. Compound parts are also joined one on top of the other. Here we have a compound subject. My mom and I agree. So my modifies mom and joins the 2 subjects. So it's on that dotted line, and you have the 2 diagonal lines that join them. And then I should have a long vertical line still here that goes between the subject and the predicate. My mom and I agree. And the same here. We should be like that line. We will go to the party but leave early. So now instead of having a compound subject, I have a compound predicate. Will go and leave are the simple predicates. Neither one of them is transitive. There's no object. Early says when we're going to leave, so it's an adverb. And to the party says where, so it's an adverb phrase or a prepositional phrase acting like an adverb. And so it's diagrammed like a prepositional phrase. That's what it is. And then, should I wear my black and white pants? This is a question again. First word of the sentence is should, but it's a helping verb. And the subject is I, so it still goes on the left side of the sentence, even though it's not on the left side of the sentence when you write the sentence out. In the diagram, the I still goes on the left. I should wear is your verb phrase, and pants is your direct object. My describes or modifies the word pants, telling which pants we're talking about. And black and white is a compound adjective that describes the pants. Hopefully this demystifies diagram sentences a little bit for you. There are also some instructions in your book, but not a lot. So we will be going through at least half of the diagrams together when we have our meet tomorrow. So until then, happy writing. Oh, and I have another video coming up for you, so watch both.